Selam.
I'm coming. I couldn't miss the party.
Too simple.
I'm coming.
No more crime for you until next month.
Eat lead.
He's all yours now. Go for it.
Don't cry, you'll...
Give him the pepper snuff.
No...
The snuff's ready. Time to knock this guy out.
Don't bother moving. You've lost.
Give him the pepper snuff.
Not that easy.
Too simple.
can overcome. The snuff's ready.
Take a rest, my friend.
Give him the pepper snuff. Time to knock this guy out.
Don't bother.
The snuff's ready.
Just die! I'm coming for you.
Give him the pepper snuff. Overcome him, don't...
I couldn't miss the party. I'm coming. I am invincible.
It won't work this way.
I'm coming.
He's all...
Don't cry, you'll live.
I'm coming for you.
Take a rest, my friend. Don't cry, you'll live.
Time to...
I couldn't miss the party.
Give him the pepper snuff.
Take a rest, my friend. No?
He's all yours now. Go. The snuff's ready.
I'm coming for you.
Take a rest.
Give him the pepper snuff.
Terribly sorry. Too simple.
You can overcome the brute now.
No more crime for you until next month.
I will end you.
Time to knock this guy out.
Excuse me.
Oh!
Take a rest, my friend. Too simple. Don't cry, you'll live.
Give him the pepper snuff.
Nice to see you.
I'm coming.
Take a rest, my friend. No more crime for you until next month. Don't bother moving.
The snuff's ready.
I'm coming for you.
No more crime for you.
Don't give him the pepper snuff.
Too simple.
The snuff's ready. We can overcome the brute now.
No more crime for you.
Give him the pepper snuff.
Take this!
It won't work this way.
I'm coming.
Don't cry, you'll live.
I'm coming for you. You're dead!
No more.
The snuff's ready.
Don't bother.
Give him the pepper snuff.
I'm coming for you. I couldn't miss the party.
Take a rest, my friend. No more crime for you until next month. Don't bother moving.
The snuff's ready.
I couldn't miss the party.
Don't cry, you'll live.
Give him the pepper snuff.
I couldn't miss the party.
Don't bother moving. You've lost.
I'm coming. I'm coming for you.
Don't cry, you'll live.
The snuff's ready. We can overcome the brute now.
Take a rest, my friend. Don't cry, you'll live. Too simple.
Give him the pepper snuff.
No more crime for you until next month. Don't bother moving. You've lost. There she is. Our old manor. It's smaller than I remember.
You were a couple of feet shorter back then, Sherry. Or maybe it's bigger on the inside.
Look at the ash all over the door. I don't recall hearing of a fire.
We don't have to stay here. You can afford another night or two at the hotel.
It's stuck.
Oh well, let's just head back. They probably haven't even stripped our room yet.
Come on. Must be locked.
Move aside. Let me have a go. Seems fine to me, Sherry. This barrier, perhaps it's mental, not physical.
Or perhaps the rest of us are simply constrained by reality, John. I wonder if there's a key secreted somewhere in the garden.
Take a look around, Sherlock. I'm sure you'll discover something.
Why does this barn give me such an unpleasant feeling?
Oh, I know. It's because Mycroft used an axe to shoo you out of here. It scarred you for life, but I enjoyed it.
An irreplaceable tool for catching a thief. I did not expect these to still be here. It was enjoyable to practice using real handcuffs to make an arrest. And this must be the reason our suspect was apprehended. Wood and glass, very precious.
Hey, that's Wooden Joe. He was always the best at playing criminals.
Funny. Wooden Joe reminds me of the trouble we once got in with the police. Do you remember, John?
Somewhat. Maybe we can recall more details.
The policeman brought us both home, John. That's why he was here.
I'm pretty sure he brought something else with him too. Do you remember what it was? I bet it was our reward.
No, we were not so lucky. It was a set of lockpicks that we had used to sneak into someone's house. That's why we were arrested.
Did someone come out to investigate all the commotion?
It was Mycroft. He smoothed things over and convinced the policeman not to press charges. The officer left and never returned. But we had to endure a serious talking to from my brother. Mycroft wasn't happy about the fact that we were arrested. It felt like he lectured us for hours.
Did we give him something afterwards, Sherry?
Oh, yes. Yes, now I remember. It was a letter. That's why we snuck into the house. Mycroft asked us to. He wasn't angry we stole, but that we got caught.
Oh, that's right. It must have been only a couple of months after we moved to Cordona. Ugh, the good old days. Whoa.
How very odd. It appears that memory stood between me and the manor. It's as if my mind palace had seeped into the real world. This deserves further investigation. Perhaps there's more to discover inside.
As long as there is a comfortable place to put my feet up, I'll be happy. Maybe a chaise longue.
Aha! In we go.
Home sweet home, Sherry.
One of the first things I saw when entering this house as a child. It's like déjà vu. Mycroft's umbrella, the only outgoing thing in his wardrobe. Hey, this is the luggage we brought from London, isn't it? Something did happen that day, but no one can tell us the details. How can that be?
Agreed. It's rather suspicious. And I was wondering why it's so empty in here.
There may be a small chance that some of our property could be found among local traders' wares. It is worth a look, wouldn't you say?
Another memory incoming, Sherry.
Strange. I struggle to recall anything about the day we moved in. The only detail I'm sure of is that it was raining early that morning. There was always a hat on our stand, but I'm sure it did not belong to Mycroft. Our mother brought a slew of belongings with her. She refused to leave a single thing in London. Mycroft had to spend the whole day dealing with it. This trip was a challenge for our mother. I tried to help her.
Do you feel it? Is it the air shimmering, or is it my imagination?
Your neighbors will be told that Mrs. Holmes is suffering from tuberculosis. It is common to move closer to the sea in such cases.
Thank you, Dr. Richter. No, Sherlock, step away from her. Upstairs. Go to your room.
Lean on me, Mother. Take your time.
Actually, I never heard her coughing. I remember now.
Oh, I feel dizzy. It's stuffy in here, isn't it?
John, are you all right?
I'll be okay in a minute. How about we find our room in the meantime?
To be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Look at this. It's like travelling 10 years into the past with a single step. Oddly satisfying. One of John's first pictures. I think this was supposed to be Mycroft. He really has improved his skills since then. This brings back memories. We used this old diary to keep track of our adventures. I think it was my father's. John, do you think we can visit some of the places mentioned in the diary for old time's sake?
Why not? Nothing like a stroll down memory lane. Note down the places you'd like to visit, and I'll add what I remember of them.
I'll never forget how challenging it was to obtain this simple sketch. I'll never forget how challenging it was to... Oh, these must be the notes of my earliest observations. We wanted to locate a particular dog we'd spotted, and we met it, didn't we? Need to repeat this one day, but with bullets. Sharp and well balanced. It would be a pity to leave such a tool behind. Sharp and well balanced. It would be a pity to leave such a tool behind.
Coal dust from Miner's End, sandy dirt from the old city. We scoured the island top to bottom for these soil samples.
The first chemical laboratory I ever made. I almost miss its elegant simplicity. Interesting. What's that over there? This doorknob has a cross-shaped end. Too intricate to be merely a handle.
You know what? That definitely looks like a key. Let's poke around and see if we can find any secrets.
The only fiction book on my table. I can still hear my mother reading it to me. So many pleasant evenings were spent here with the Encyclopedia Americana. A magnificent tool made for a spurious purpose, staring into the sky. I've definitely found a better use for it.
You mean for spying on people?
Look at this, John. Remember how desperately I wanted to learn the violin? I never had a proper opportunity.
Such a shame. I always hated the rule about being silent in this place.
artifact from Palau carved out of bone and claimed to be 300 years old. My mother proved it was a fake. My very favourite plaything. It was the perfect pirate treasure. Cannot believe all my toys are still here.
Hey, they were not just yours, they were half mine too. Oh, it reminds me of our neighbour. He had the same balloon in his yard, only bigger. Do you remember?
Yes, we visited him several times while living here.
Coal dust from Miner's End, sandy dirt from the old city. We scoured the island top to bottom for these soil samples.
Sharp and well balanced. It would be a pity to leave such a tool behind.
This time I was first to pick beds. This one's mine now.
Need to repeat this one day, but with bullets. The first chemical laboratory I ever made. I almost miss its elegant simplicity. Perfect match. Still has a faint odour of tobacco, one of the few things on this island that smell like home. Made of cherry wood, Father's favourite. My small archive of crime clippings. Maybe I should pick up this habit again.
I knew you'd find it in no time.
Wasn't that neighbour missing a finger?
That does sound vaguely familiar. Wasn't his name, Theodore? Theodore Gilden, perhaps?
It's the perfect time to investigate.
This book, where I kept my collection of coins, it used to be bigger.
Oh, no. We won't let this stand, right, Sherry? I want to find my coins.
It's going to be difficult. The sands of time, you know? Some things may have changed, but you're right. We can't let Mycroft win. Almost as good as mine. Another one. There must be something important behind it. I can feel it.
That wretch Goliath would murder us all. Mark my words.
As if they were struck by a battering ram.
I wonder how we managed not to hear any of this.
Destruction and trampled ground.
He was certainly under pressure.
Oof, a contortionist you were not. Disjointed vertebrae. Difficult to say if it was a way to start or finish him off. A missing pinky. Middle-aged. It's none other than Theodore Gilden. A belt from a dressing gown. Curious. A kneecap reduced to splinters.
Oh boy, Sherlock. Another death means another question.
And we shall answer the question. It's far too interesting to give it up to the police.
Poke the elephant with this? Really? People are hopeless.
A strong pull broke this leash. A pool of blood and saliva, possibly as a result of impact.
Sherlock, take a picture of the footprint. It's valuable evidence.
This photograph can help us find the old article about the elephants. The front page was fascinating. It was hard to believe as a child.
True. We may need it in our investigation. An amount of attention that most can only dream of. A coal gas tank, enough to pump up an airship. A sailor's knife useful for cutting wet and thick ropes. It's seen a lot of use. The blade is worn from grinding. Fresh signs of impact. A rough landing led to an altercation with this shed. In a fit of rage, the elephant broke the chain and threw its victim on the ground with a fierce power. Escaping the scene, it pulled the body with it, but dropped it at the gate. At least some of this was witnessed by a third party who was hurled against the shed. The elephant can't have gone too far. I can still track it.
I suppose you find it. Then what? Push it all the way back to the manor?
Didn't we get to fly in it as children? I doubt it could hold my weight today.
He was certainly under pressure.
A royal suite for a favourite pet.
Plenty of food to satisfy even the most fastidious.
I'm watching you closely, Mr. Holmes.
The editor here is a quack, putting my gripping corruption investigation on the 4th page. We can't tolerate such disrespect, right, Sherlock?
Yes, yes, John. You know, I'm starting to remember. We wrote it somewhere in this building. Let's find where. There was a military parade that day. Everyone was there, so we had the office at our disposal for a while. Still, it's a miracle we weren't caught.
An underappreciated masterpiece was born here. You recall anything else?
We had a suitcase. It was soggy and filled with notes and clippings. I remember it was important somehow. Working on this machine felt right. We almost ran out of ink ribbon, but somehow we knew it wouldn't inconvenience anyone. We found a folder with approved stories. John, it wasn't the editor, it was us. We swapped the article on the 4th page with ours. Curious.
Is that all, my friend?
John, no, wait. I'm missing something crucial. The suitcase, where did we get it from?
Okay, Sherlock, focus on it. What can you remember about it?
I can recall the smell of fish. It was so strong I could taste it.
Ah, I think we were near one of those fish warehouses, big ones.
It felt wet and slimy, as if it had lain in the water for some time. Yet the insides were surprisingly intact.
Yes, right, and I remember the sound of horns like they use at the industrial sites. It must be somewhere on the Silverton coast.
That comprises the entirety of my memories on the subject.
So, we are looking for a fish warehouse on the coast of Silverton that stands right on the water's edge.
It seems so, my friend. I am sure I will remember the place when I see it. Let's go.
He's even been putting. He's even been putting. He's even been putting. He's even been putting.
No, this can't be right, Matthias. Murder? Impossible.
Good thing we helped him escape. Now focus, Sherry. Let's remember how we did it.
We snuck in when the archives were empty and found something on the archivist's table.
A top-secret map of catacombs beneath the prison, allowing us to rescue Matthias.
No, that's not right. It was something else. Let me focus on it. Ah, of course. It was the shift schedule. We wanted to know which officer was on prison duty that day.
Ah, that's not how I remember it. Or maybe... Yes. We went to find the officer's desk. That's where the map was.
We waited until no one was around, then searched the desk. You were on lookout, John.
Do you recall what we found here?
I remember a book with wax stains damaged by humidity. The officer used it to keep him company during long prison shifts. A half-eaten tuna sandwich. It was carefully wrapped in a hand-stitched kerchief. You almost took a bite, John. There was a chain of keys. We found something here, John, and something else. It was a police billy club, new, but already stained with blood.
What's important is that we found keys. By my memory, we crept to the prison cells immediately. Let's go.
This area is restricted. This area is restricted. What a long day.
Guards were lazy. Knowing their shift schedule, it was easy to sneak past them and find the right cell.
Yes, and with the keys and map in hand, we busted out Matthias and escaped through the catacombs.
John, no, that's not what happened. Let me remember. It was dark. His cell smelt of decay and excrement. I remember calling for him, but Matthias did not answer, so I walked inside. I saw a shape. It was moving just barely. I remember seeing his familiar yellow jacket, now torn and covered in strange brown splotches. I saw his legs twisted at an impossible angle. Then someone called to me from the door. It was an officer. He didn't yell when he saw me. Understood it at a glance. He took me outside, told me to forget what I saw. In a way, I did.
Sherry, Come outside. We should take a photo of the cell. I know you want to remember the truth.
Rest easy, Matthias. John, I must find that loathsome mutton shunter Mitchell. I will find him.
Yes, really not very hard with them.
It's not fair. He deserved worse.
And Matthias deserved better. There is a lot of injustice in the world, Sherry. Your skills could make a difference for others like him.
Hello. Hiç bak.
Do you know anything about this?
I'd help you, friend, but I know nothing.
Is this familiar to you?
I'm too tired for your questions.
Time to check your who, what and what, Sherry. Who are you asking, about what and dressed as what?
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, pal, I can't remember.
John, this is the spot. Let's see what we can recall. We found a rope tied to one of the books. We pulled and a suitcase emerged. we know where to look? What am I missing? This doesn't seem relevant. Brown algae. We were specifically looking for it. I think we saw it on someone nearby. I think I can remember where.
All right, lead the way.
كيف حالك؟ مرحبا. Gelip komşum ben. Bakın kim buradaymış.
Excuse me, just one question.
I've never heard of it. I'm sorry.
Nasılsın?
We found this old shipwreck soon after we arrived on Cordona. It quickly became our favorite place. I remember feeling safe.
Ahoy, our mighty frigate! All hands ahoy! Show me ye haven't become no lily-livered landlubber.
We needed a good sail, so obviously we went and stole some sheets from Mycroft's bed. He was furious. I'm sure he still holds the grudge.
'Twas a good rig we ran on him. Aye!
This helm was borrowed from Father's collection. He enlisted the police to try and find it, but all the while it was here helping us steer our ship.
Aye, Sherry, and ye were the best coxswain on the briny deep.
We wanted to name our ship. We took some planks and a bucket of paint from workers at the nearby construction site. Arabella, we called her.
A real woman of war, she was.
I'm starting to remember, John. We didn't stay here for long. Someone else came.
Shiver me timbers, those were the king's men. They came for our booty and to make us dance the Hepham jig.
No, John, that's not right. It was someone else. Let me focus. Of course. Dudley and his henchmen, they couldn't stand some rich kids playing on their territory. And their territory was wherever they saw us.
Those sons of biscuit eaters stood no chance against real swashbucklers.
Sure, but we ran, didn't we?
Well, yes, but only to get our weapon.
Savvy? Head up that bridge, buccaneer, to the cannon.
Merhaba. Seni görmek güzel.
We wanted to teach them a lesson. Mycroft once said that this cannon was still operational. Obviously, we tried to fire it.
Aye, if we couldn't sail our Arabella, no one would. With one good shot broadside, we sent those freebooters to the Davy Jones.
John, this is getting ridiculous. We didn't fire the cannon. We couldn't fight those boys. We just ran. It was over. Just let it go.
No, stop your whining, you lubber. It's...
John, please stop. I said it's over.
No, wait, Sherry. There is one more thing you need to see.
Oh, all right, John, but this one is the last one.
Avast ye!
It's this side of the bridge, a small cave on the beach. We left a sign on the wall. It might still be there.
going to be raining soon.
I think I remember this place. Let me see what we can find. You can't put an old name on a new ship. That's why we called her Themis. If you're a bully, it's a bad idea to leave clothes unattended while swimming. Someone may repurpose your trousers into a surprisingly good sail. This was my father's helm, so we had to steal it back from Dudley. It was high tide, and I caught a chill. Spent the next week in bed with a fever.
Oi, matey, let's get her shipshape once more.
I must admit, John, it was good to remember. Let's take a photograph.
Oh, Sherry, come on. I know you want to do it.
All hands ahoy! Weigh anchor and hoist the mizzen! Heave ho, First Mate John, we have a Spanish galleon to plunder! It was night, we stained fingers, and a notebook. A journalist. His scared look and hasty steps smelled of adventure. We followed. Another man appeared. He was casually dressed, but his haircut and posture revealed him to be a soldier. The journalist quickly changed direction. Another disguised soldier cut the journalist off. He was cornered. We hid behind the barrels and watched.
The three men argued. The soldiers demanded something from the journalist, but he refused. Their words grew louder and someone pushed the reporter.
He stumbled and fell over the edge. After one horrible yell, he hit the ground. The soldiers vanished. We waited to be safe, then went to him.
Focus, my friend. I know you'll remember everything. Blood was everywhere. I was in shock, but you kept your cool. You noticed that his shoes had a layer of salt and brown algae stuck to his leg.
Those men demanded something from him. I wanted to find out what was so valuable as to kill for. And so we did. Made it public.
The journalist Hector Jacobson. People built a memorial after his death. That might be a good backdrop for our picture. Let's find it.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
What a coincidence. I only learned of this recently myself.
Hector Jacobson was killed for his story, yet it still came to light. A lesson for those less noble. You cannot bury the truth.
I think here is a good place for a picture, Sherry.
Exquisite furniture for your home. My goods will brighten up your house. Enjoy your purchase. Sorry, I've nothing to offer you at present. The best antiques in the district. Exquisite furniture for your home.
a treasured man. Cordona's annual tourist treasure hunt has been completed. Congrats to the champion, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
The cheapest news on the island. Thank you.
It was an early morning. For some reason, we snuck out of the house and crossed the bridge into Miner's End.
We were always adventuring, Sherry. Focus on the bone. That's what's important here.
Yes, I remember. It was huge, but wait. How do we find it? I think there was someone else. Oh, of course, Toby, our furry partner in crime, John. How could I have forgotten?
Whoa, it was quite a while ago. Hey, do you remember how we met him?
I remember bell sounds and sweat and the smell of incense. I think it was at the church in Western Miner's End. Let's find the place. The morning sun was shining and church bells called the town to mass, but we weren't here for a ceremony. We were running. From what? Of course. The dreaded Dudley. He was still incensed after the stolen clothes incident and wanted to teach us a lesson. I can almost see where we ran.
Hey.
We lost him for a moment and tried to hide. You pointed to the small courtyard and we ran in. We hid behind crates full of fish. They were stamped as fresh, but I remember my stomach did not agree with that statement.
Oh, no, that smell. It almost made me want to face Dudley. But before that happened, there was a noise. The idiot had a brain the size of a peanut, but when it came to finding us across the island, his cunning was almost supernatural.
Unlike us, he knew many kids on Cordona, and all were eager to get into his good favors. But this time, he met someone who wasn't scared of him. We heard a low growl first, then a dismissive cry, a loud bark after that, and a terrified scream a moment later.
And when we looked up, we saw only a big angry dog with ripped breeches in its jaw. I was scared, but you wanted to get closer, Sherry, remember?
He looked hungry, and I had a sandwich from home. He sniffed it cautiously and then accepted it and let me pet him. It was the first of many snacks.
Ugh, those dreaded ham and pickle sandwiches. Lucky for Toby, I'm more of a tuna guy.
John, I am starting to recall something else. Close nearby, under the building with a huge water tower on top, we saw it from the church. We heard rumors that this place was haunted, strange lights in the night, people disappearing. One night we decided to investigate. Toby was with us, always happy to join on our escapades. He stopped when we neared the building and refused to go further, but I was resolute. It was pitch black, so we had to light the lamp. The smell of oil and burned hair filled the night. Then something moved in the shadows. It was a man. I remember a dirty shirt, horrifying smile, and a pair of manacles in his hand. We turned to run. That's when we saw that we were cut off. This one had a rope in his hands. My heart sunk. Then I heard a growl. Toby jumped the slavers with all the fury his size contained. We got the hint and ran like the clappers. And I never saw our Toby again.
We departed Cordona soon after that night, Sherry. Perhaps he was hiding or wandering. It was not unlike him to disappear for weeks on end.
Yes, you may be right. I regret going to that place. Should have listened to Toby's warnings.
And leave a haunted building unexplored? You know very well that is a mystery that would have nagged us forever.
I know, and yet...
No sense dwelling on ifs and maybes. We can choose to remember those times how we want. I'll draw a picture. You just pick the scene.
I want us to remember our first meeting, our first sandwich.
Wouldn't have been my first choice, but that's all right. I'll draw it for you.
John, that's it. We've revisited all the places I wanted from my diary. Even without the rose-tinted glasses, it was good to remember, my friend.